The content in this magazine could contain references of topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering. Please honor yourself, inner knowing, and proceed with whatever help or guidance you feel is intuitively aligned. Welcome to Sovereign Magazine Podcast. I'm Nicole George, CEO and founder of Sovereign. I'm so happy you are here. We are the magazine podcast and community guiding 5 million women to their sovereign selves. From heart-led conversations to magical meditations, our inspiring guests will show you how they can help you step into your sovereign self. Are you ready to listen to your inner voice and step into your power? Then keep listening to hear all of the intuitive messages meant for you today. Hello. Today I have the privilege of reconnecting with Chris Melville, who is our amazing personal empowerment coach here at Sovereign Magazine, alongside her transformative coaching sessions and workshops for the Sovereign community. Chris also runs a thriving coaching practice and is a certified rapid transformational therapy practitioner with over 30 years of corporate experience. She's very, very passionate about empowering women to overcome mindset challenges and building thriving businesses. She is a true expert in personal empowerment and helps others boldly step into their power. Welcome back, Chris.
Hello, Nicole. It's lovely to be back. And hello to all the lovely sovereign women out there listening.
We are talking about waiting to surrender today, which is our theme for the September full moon issue. And in your article, The Soft Power of Surrender, you give us a beautiful reframe that surrender does not mean weakness. And you help guide us all to see that real control begins when we have the ability to let go, especially when we let go of outcomes, timelines, maybe even the pressure that we feel to constantly perform. And you go into explaining how surrender isn't passive, it is intentional, and that when we lead from a place of clarity instead of maybe leaning more into fear, and when we move more with trust instead of tension, we can build an amazing business. So why don't you recap some of your article for anyone who perhaps hasn't read it yet?
I'm a big believer in surrender because it was something I was never able to do for a very long time. I was a working mom. I was a control freak, like most people. And a lot of women struggle with control because we're always balancing so many different balls, right? So the thing about control is you're not in control unless you can't let go of control, which is something I talk about in the article, because we think, oh, I have to control everything. I have to control everything. And I am in control of everything. But you can't be in control, because when we talk about being in control, we're talking about being in control of the situation, but also of ourselves. And we can't be in control if there's a part of us that can't just sit back and relax, that can't just surrender, that is always feeling pushed and driven by everything around us, our environment, our jobs, our families, everything else is pushing us to behave a certain way. That is not the way that we want to behave.
Yes. And I think this comes back to a sense of safety, right? When we try to control, it's that we're feeling unsafe somewhere. And you highlight a lot in your article about how our nervous system plays a really crucial role in our ability to surrender, and that when we feel unsafe, we tend to cling a little bit tighter. So maybe perhaps you could expand a little bit more on that.
Sure. The top part of the nervous system I'm talking about there is the autonomic nervous system. So if you think about everything that happens when you're asleep to keep you alive, the autonomic nervous system regulates that. Heartbeat, respiration, blood pressure, everything, body temperature, all of those kind of things that you need to have stable in order to be able to wake up in the morning. And the autonomic nervous system is best friends with the amygdala, which is the caveman part of our brain. The amygdala controls things like our memories, our limiting beliefs, and it's the stupidest part of our brain, basically. But they're best friends. And that means that the amygdala is really focused on us waking up. He wants us to wake up in the morning with food, shelter, protection from the environment, protection from any predators that are around. That's its biggest driving purpose. And therefore, it is the autonomic nervous system's biggest driving purpose. So that part of our nervous system is always checking to make sure that we're safe. And the minute it feels threatened, and it can feel threatened because maybe the room's gotten hot and your temperature has gone up, and it will flag to your brain that you're not safe. Something has changed, because that's all it cares about. Is the minute anything changes, it's putting you in danger to not wake up in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So when someone feels this danger or this change and their nervous system is recalibrating to potential danger, what would one need to do in that moment? Maybe pause instead of push forward, or
100%, because when our body is telling our brain that we're not safe, our brain, that amygdala, is like rifling through our memories for a situation where it's been like this before, and it wants us to revert to that behavior. Right. And that's where things happen. Like you might get that feeling in your stomach of like tension, or your shoulders might get tight. But then the next step is the brain pops in and it starts telling you all the negative beliefs to move you away from whatever you're trying to do. So your brain is trying to grab control of the situation by having you revert to behavior that you've used in the past, whether it's healthy for you or not.
yeah, so basically, kind of like a script or a blueprint that it remembers of how to keep you safe from before. So that makes so much sense. And how can we begin to like undo that, right? Like, how can we lean into being a little bit softer and having more deeply aligned actions, and maybe even leaning into intuition? I often use this and say, oh, I see you again, right? Whenever something comes up that, may feel uncomfortable, I just notice that feeling and just say, I see you again. There's my old friend fear, or there's my old friend anxiety. Hi, welcome back type of thing. Because
So
I
nice
feel,
to see you again.
yes, I feel like when I acknowledge that it's there, then I can look at it with a discerning eye. I often have this thing, I don't know if everybody else has it, but I have this thing where I can like watch myself. It's so strange, but I can watch myself as I'm behaving through the whatever's happening. And I'm like, wow, you are really acting interesting right now, Nicole, but I'm still doing the behavior. So it's this, I don't know if it's a superpower or not, but I just notice what I'm doing. So as somebody's in that state of fear or anxiety, or wherever their nervous system is taking them and reverting back to that previous blueprint, how can they begin to rewrite a new blueprint?
So the first thing is to calm down the nervous system. And that comes from recognition, exactly what you're doing. So you recognize what's going on. And if you're feeling those feelings in your body, especially if it's something like it feels like a shot of adrenaline, or that nervous feeling in your stomach, if your heart, you might get heart palpitations or sweaty palms, you have to wait. So this is a chemical reaction. It's a hormonal reaction that runs through our body when the autonomic nervous system triggers the amygdala, and it takes 90 seconds for that to flush out. And while that hormone surge is running through your body, the rational part of your brain is completely shut up. It can't help you even if you ask it to. So you recognize it, you let it pass through, and then you can do some physical things first to calm your nervous system, which we're going to talk about. Once you've kind of calmed down your nervous system, that's when you can ask the logical side of your brain to come in and say, hey, what was that about? What was going on there? Right? What triggered that? Or, where has that reaction that I've had, that need to grab control and behave in a way that doesn't feel natural to me? Where have I done that before? Yeah. And can I actually start to trace the roots of that behavior so I can understand the genesis of it? So it's working with both the nervous system and the brain, but it's really the awareness, the calming of the nervous system, and then the questioning. If you don't calm your nervous system, it will keep refiring.
Yeah, because that's all it knows to do, right? So we have to reprogram it. I think it's a good time to move into steps to our sovereign self because I want to give our audience enough time to do these practices. So, you're going to do some somatic nervous system resets for us today to help us when we're in that state of nervousness, anxiety, fear, whatever it may be. And we need to let go and we need to surrender and we need to trust in outcomes and timelines and things like that. You can do these things to help reset your nervous system to allow in some intuition and guidance that might be different from what you've used before and maybe start recoding that blueprint to a new state of surrender.
So the first thing that you want to do while you're having that physical feeling, before you have the chance to reset your nervous system, you have to hold it, right? Because that physical feeling is going to be triggering your brain to take an action that you don't want to take, right? That action that comes from anxiety, that comes from stress, that comes from fear, whatever it is. So we have to sit with that hormonal issue while it's running through our body with that reaction. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. I just count. I count to 5 over and over and over again. It's actually, that was something I started when I broke my back 15 years ago. And I'd have to lay around at 2 o'clock in the morning, almost for an hour, waiting for my medication because they had to go and find the right nurse. And I would just count to 5. So I can't get through. I don't know how I'm going to get through the next half hour, an hour, whatever it is, but I can get through 5 seconds. I can get through 5 seconds. So I would just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I would start all over again, 5 seconds at a time. That's the best way for me to manage it. You can also manage it, but just repeating to yourself like a mantra, I am safe, I'm fine, I'm safe, I am fine. It's this repetitive behavior that keeps your brain kind of preoccupied and stops it from pushing you to take immediate action. Because that's what, once you start taking the immediate action, then it's like you're stuffed. You have to go all the way through the action, don't you? So then when everything's calmed down and you want to calm down your nervous system, there's a couple of different things you can do. Now, the fastest way to do it, you have dogs. I have a dog. When you've seen your dog get scared by something, what does it do after it's gone past the thing that it's scared by?
It shakes.
It shakes its whole body, tip of the nose to the tip of the tail. We can do the exact same thing. This full body shake is like pushing an automatic nervous system reset button, and the nervous system resets immediately, right? So you can just stand up, shake everything out, right? 20, 30 seconds, massive difference. If you're someplace where you don't want to stand up and shake yourself around the room, you're in the middle of an office or you're in a meeting or you're in the middle of a fight with your partner, you can do a couple of other things. So controlling your breath is a great way to calm everything down. And you take a breath in for 4 beats. So just breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then release it for 6, right? This is a pattern of breathing that we use when we are falling asleep. We cannot fall asleep unless our nervous system is telling our brain we're safe, right? So when you do the same breathing rhythm that you use when you go to sleep, your brain and your body are going, oh, we're safe. We're safe. It's okay. So a little bit of breathing patterns like that. You can, if you're sat in a room, you can just take a few minutes and run through your senses. Look around the room and look for something. Look for all the red items in the room. What can you spot in the room that's red? And then have a think about what you can hear in the room. What can you hear close to you? And if you project your hearing a little bit further away, what can you hear further away? What can you feel in the room? Is there air conditioning or heating running? Can you feel a breeze on your skin? Does the temperature feel comfortable? Maybe it might be a little bit humid. I've just turned the air conditioning off in my room while we do this, and my room is feeling very humid because I've got the windows open and it's meant to rain outside. So what can you feel? What can you smell? Are there smells in the room? Maybe you can smell food in the room next to you being cooked, or maybe the person sat next to you in a meeting is a little bit sweaty, or maybe they've got coffee breath. What can you smell? So just engaging our senses, working through our body. This helps distract, again, our mind and our nervous system to help settle it. And then if you're really kind of stuck somewhere and you need to kind of be very aware of where you are, just take your thumb and press the pad of every one of your fingers. Pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky, come back, ring finger, middle finger, pointer finger. And as you press into each one, be very aware of what you're feeling. How much pressure are you putting on it? What's the temperature of your skin feel like? Is it dry? Is it moist? Right? And just do this one finger at a time. All we're trying to do with this somatic exercises, besides the full body shake, is distract the nervous system and the brain so the nervous system quiets down and the brain doesn't push us into behavior we don't want to do. We are surrendering by letting go of the reaction that our body wants us to automatically have.
Yes. Oh, what a gift you've given all of us today that we can carry with us anywhere we go, right? We don't need any tools. All these things are within you, within your body. The beautiful thing is Chris is going to be back for some more, and you can find her in our community.sovereign-magazine.com. All of her details are in the show notes. We thank you so much for everything you've shared with us today. I know we're going to help people really calm their nervous systems.
Well, I'd love to hear from anybody who tries one of these, which one works best for them.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. All right, see you on the next one.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with another soul-led entrepreneur here to help you step into your sovereign self. Subscribe to our magazine and podcast and join our global community for all the magic. Details to connect with today's guest or join the movement are in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. It helps us reach our goal of guiding 5 million women to self-sovereignty.